If you told me a couple years ago that I'd be shooting projects around the world and be a full-time filmmaker, I probably wouldn't believe you. All I wanted to do at the time was create cool videos and eventually quit my 9-to-5 in engineering that just wasn't satisfying me. And in the past years, I've made a lot of mistakes. So in this video, I'm putting myself in beginner's shoes and sharing 5 things that I wish I had learned and perhaps things I would have done differently if I had to start my creator journey again from scratch today. My name is Arthur, I'm a software engineer turned filmmaker, and all of my videos kind of combine the two things together. Let's get it. The first thing on a list is consistency, which for me has probably been the biggest challenge so far. Every time I posted consistently for over a month, 2 posts a week, trial reels, my audience felt alive. The moment I've slowed down, everything stalls. My number one advice is to double down on consistency early on. Not for the algorithm, but just to keep the connection with people who care. You gotta give them kind of like a reminder that you're still there. Which brings me on to quantity and how often you should post. I know a lot of creators who have built their businesses off of posting 3 or more times a day, and there was even a time where I tried to post 1 video every single day. Between the high standards I set for myself and life getting in the way, I just couldn't consistently pump out 1 video a day. Not without burning out or sacrificing quality. And quality is important, especially nowadays when there's so many talented creators, you kind of need to stand out. So if I started over today, I would commit to something realistic. 2 videos a week max, and good quality that I can maintain from week to week. The goal isn't to post more, but it's to post good quality content often enough. Alright, before we move on to the type of content I'd create, I want to talk about the tools that play a big part in the way I create my videos. If you watched my videos before, you know that I use Artlist for a lot of my editing. Anything from music, sound effects, to even parts of pre-planning. And they've dropped something really insane. The new Nano Banana Pro image generation model is now available. And honestly, the stuff you can do with it is wild. You can now render text in multiple languages, generate different diagrams and detailed infographics, and in general, the consistency across each generation is crazy. And I think now we're at a point where you can integrate AI into your workflow without it being very obvious. And they're running a holiday sale giving you a discount on the annual plans. And that's on top of the 2 months extra that you get. So if you want to find out more about Artlist, I'll leave a link in the description for you to check out. With the timing and quantity out of the way, let's talk about the type of content. The biggest hack for growth nowadays, I think, is following trends. Now, I know there's a lot of negative thoughts around it, but I think if it's done right, I don't see a problem with it. The key here is to use trends as a means of discovery and give viewers a reason to stick around. So on day 1, I would absolutely use trends, and not to copy, but to adapt them to my own style and hopefully learn from them. Also, if you're interested, here are some cool trends that I've seen recently on Instagram that are pretty creative and I think are pretty easy to recreate. After you've done your trend research, I think it's time to move on to the purpose behind your content. You see, there are 3 pillars of content: educational, inspirational, and entertaining. You don't have to lock yourself into just one, but choosing a direction gives your content clarity. I didn't do this early on. I mostly focused on inspirational content, and at the same time, I thought, who am I to inspire anyone? Once I started blending inspirational and educational content, I found a more natural way to tell stories and kind of developed my own preferred style. Pick 2 content pillars and figure out how your content can tackle both of them at the same time. Okay, finally, number 5, we're moving on to audience and figuring out who you're making your videos for. When I say audience, I don't mean a group of people. I mean just one single person. I think early on I was creating content for everyone, which works to an extent, but once I figured out exactly who my audience is, it became easier to know what I want to create. If I started again, I would build out a viewer profile from day 1 and answer the following questions. Who is your viewer and what do they do? What does your viewer want? What challenges is your viewer facing? And what inspires them the most? I think the hardest part about growing on social media is the beginning. Not the gear, not the algorithm, not how good you are at editing. Just showing up long enough to let your work compound. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. It's starting to rain, so I think we gotta call it here. The creator journey is beautiful, hard, and very individual. My journey has been unique to me, and your path is also different. And if you do have any questions, drop them in the comments. Send me a DM on Instagram if you do want to keep it private. I'm always happy to help. You might have noticed the setup is a bit different. That's because I have officially moved to Bali, Indonesia. So I guess more content will be coming from jungles and rice fields and all the good stuff. And I'm also hoping to travel more around Southeast Asia. I think it would be a shame to waste an opportunity of being based here and not traveling different places. But that's me going off on a tangent, and I should probably make a video about that. I don't know. Either way, I'll catch you in the next video.